All right, so I want to take a little bit of time just to go over a couple problems from today's worksheet. This is the 3-3C classwork number 2. I'm going to do problems number 6 and 8 for you, so you can see a couple more examples of how to do these problems if you're struggling with them. So let's go ahead and jump into these. So first of all, number 6. Now what we are going to do is we are taking this value here, 7x minus 10. We're going to take that value and we are substituting or plugging that in for this y value because we know that's what y is equal to. So when I do this, I have negative 8x plus 4, and then instead of writing y, I'm going to replace that with 7x minus 10. And then rewrite the rest of the equation, so equals 0. Now, the reason why we're doing this, two reasons. First of all, we're doing this because we cannot solve an equation that has two variables. Unless I tell you that x is a number or y is a number, we cannot do that. So our options then are to take our equation, we're going to take one of these equations and we're going to substitute it, so now we're only left with one variable. You can see we only have x's here. The other reason why we're doing this is we're trying to find out where these lines intersect. And for those of you that end up doing something business related, this is a concept that's used a lot in supply and demand. If we have some product that has a graph that looks like this for supply, and then we have a graph that looks like this, like supply and demand, and then a graph that looks like this for your product, the cost of your materials and the cost of making it, then this point right here, the point where they intersect, this is what we're doing with this concept. But this right here tells you how much you have to charge for your product and how many you have to create. Like how many of those things do you need to make? Okay, so like this is something that anybody like Apple, when they're making the new iPhone, they if they make too many of them, then they're wasting a lot of money and they won't sell them. But if they don't make enough of them, then they're not able to keep up with the demand, and someone's going to end up going and buying like a Samsung or something like that. They'll buy a different phone because they want to get a new phone. So you have to make sure that you're creating enough so you can meet the demand, but then also know how much to charge for that phone so that you can sell all of the ones that you've produced. So this is something that's used a lot in business, finding the point where they intersect for models like that. So that's a good example of why you would need to know how to do this stuff if any of you plan on doing anything business related. So let's go ahead and solve this now. So first of all, I'm going to take my negative 8x and bring that down, and then I'm going to take this 4 and distribute it through. So 4 times 7x is 28x, and then 4 times negative 10 is negative 40, equals 0. Now we will combine our like terms. So I have a negative 8x and I have a plus 28x. When I add those together, I get 20x. Bring down the rest of the equation. Minus 40 equals 0. Now, move the number with no variable, so I need to add 40. Add 40 to both sides. Negative 40 plus 40 is 0. Those are gone. So 20x equals 40. Some of you might be able to look at that and say, well, yeah, if I take 20 times 2, I get 40, so x is 2. But this is what we're actually doing. We're going to divide by 20 on both sides. 40 divided by 20 is 2. Now remember, we are not done. This is not our answer. This is only half of our answer. X equals 2 is only half of the answer. We need the y value as well. So now I'm going to take my y. Now I know I'm going to just pull this equation right here. Y equals 7x minus 10. And I am going to take this x value and plug it in here for x. Okay, so y equals 7 times 2 minus 10. So we break out our calculator. 7 times 2 is 14. Minus 10, and my y value is 4. But again, we are not finished. Our final answer must be written as a point because we were looking for the point where those two lines intersected. That is your solution to the system of equations. So my answer is this point, 2, 4. Make sure that you're writing your answer as a point. Do not leave it like this. because this is not your final answer. Your final answer is the point where those lines intersect. All right, let's jump over to number 8 now. We're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to take now, this is for x, so I will take y minus 5, and I am plugging that in here for x. Why am I doing that? Well, this will get me one variable, and I'll actually be able to solve for that variable. So 3, and I'm replacing the x with y minus 5. That is what x is equal to. Until we know what number it's equal to, we know that it's equal to that equation. Okay, so distributive property, 3 times y gives me 3y, and 3 times negative 5 gives me negative 15. And then let's bring down the rest of the equation. We get that. So now, 3 combining our like terms, here, 3y minus 8y, those are my like terms, right? 3y and negative 8y, combine them together, 3 minus 8. 3 minus 8 gives me negative 5y. Bring down the rest, negative 15, or minus 15 equals negative 10. All right, let's keep going here. Move the number with no variable, so I need to get rid of the 15. So that means right now it's a negative 15. I have to do the opposite and add 15 to both sides. We have to do the same thing to both sides because it's an equation. We have to keep it equal, and we do that by doing the same thing to both sides. So negative 5y is what's left on my left-hand side, and my right-hand side is equal to a positive 5. Negative 10 plus 15 is 5. Divide by negative 5 to get y by itself. Divide by negative 5. Y equals negative 1. But wait, we are not done. There's more. We need to take this and we have to plug that into the other equation. You could really plug it into any equation. You could plug it into the top one if you wanted. But you see, it's a lot easier to use this one because this is already solved for x. So once I plug this in here for y, I'm pretty much done with the problem. So y was negative 1. So y is negative 1. Then I'll bring down my negative 5. I break out my calculator and I say negative 1 minus 5 is negative 6. So now I'm ready to write my final answer as a point. X value always goes first, y value is second. There's your final answer. All right, so again, tomorrow, the next day, I will be sending out videos of me going over a couple problems from the worksheet, so you'll have a few more examples to look at. So again, like always, if you have any questions, just let us know.